purpose of this webcast today is to give you a demonstration of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. I'm doing this for a number of clients who are wanting to use EFT for anxiety and fears, and I'm hoping that this video will serve as a resource for you to be able to get onto YouTube and sit in front of it and do some tapping while you're at home and whenever you need to. So I want to go through with you first of all the basics about EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. EFT is based on the same theory as acupuncture, that is that energy meridians run all through our body, and that by stimulating those energy meridians in some way you're able to release held tensions and stresses in the body that cause us to suffer. So it's just like acupuncture. Instead of sticking needles in energy meridian points, we're actually tapping on those energy meridian points very easily. EFT is something that you can learn within, say, 5 or 10 minutes, or hopefully by the time we've got through this video you'll have learnt the process today. And I love EFT because it gives you a way of being your own therapist. It's completely free because you're only tapping on yourself and speaking to your own unconscious mind. You can take it with you everywhere you go. And it's perfect for people who suffer anxieties or fears and phobias. You can tap on yourself in the car, you can tap on yourself while you're at work, you can tap on yourself anywhere. And it works very, very, very effectively. I've personally used it myself over the years many times to work on my own emotional and psychological issues, you know, as I was moving through my life, and I found it really helpful. Like everything, some therapies work for some people and not others, so if you give it a go and it doesn't work for you, I urge you not to dismiss it straight away. What happens with some people is that they are less able to get the effect they want when tapping on their own, and they need to be tapping with someone else in order to get the most out of it. It's true of a lot of therapies that if you're feeling in a low vibrational state yourself, you're not feeling good, you're anxious, you're stressed, you're depressed or whatever, and it's holding down your vibration, sometimes you don't have a high enough vibration to be able to heal yourself with the best result. And in those cases, generally if you're sitting with someone else and tapping with them, what they're doing is actually lending their energy in harmony with yours, so that you can use that energy for healing. So try tapping on your own by all means. If you're not getting the effect that you want, you could give me a call and come and see me. If you're watching this video, perhaps you've already been to see me. But come and tap with me before you actually discard it as a possible therapy for you to use. So I want to give you the basics today. There are certain basic points. Now you don't necessarily need to remember all of these, because I will put a couple of links at the bottom of the video so that you can go and have a written copy of what the instructions are, and that may work better for some of you. But I'll just go through with you what the basic tapping points are. So the first tapping point I always use is right on the crown of the head. We tap each point 6 to 10 times, just lightly. So when I tap on the top of my head, I'm tapping with my fingers like this. The next tapping point starts at the beginning of your eyebrows, where your eyebrows start, just on the underneath side. The next tapping point is on the outside of your eyebrows, on that bone there, on both sides. Now it doesn't matter if you tap on one side and then the other, or if you tap together. The beauty of EFT is that you can't get it wrong. It doesn't matter what order you really do the tapping in. You just tap and tap and tap and tap as you're talking to your unconscious mind until you get a response from your body. So tapping point here. Next one is underneath the eyes here. Next one is where your nose joins your face. I tap with my finger sideways like that. Next one is here where the crease in the chin is. Next one, if you go down and you find that U-notch in your chest and there's a bone on either side of that U-notch, just that fleshy part beneath the bone is where you're going to be tapping. Again, you could do one side and then the other. You could do both together, whatever you feel like. There's also a tapping point underneath the arm. Now, ladies, it'll be where your bra strap is on the midline of your body. I'm sure men know where that is too. And you can tap with 4 fingers. So you just tap underneath your arm on one side or the other, doesn't matter. And then the karate chop point on the side of your hand. And I always like to give a thymus thump at the end, which is a tap into the middle of your chest here. And breathe when you get to that point. Nice big deep breaths. As you breathe, you're clearing the negative energy out of your body. So breathing through this is an important part of it. So here's the process. The process is that you're going to repeat a phrase to yourself 3 times. That phrase is always going to include what you're tapping on and the fact that you love and accept yourself. And you might even want to add, and I forgive myself, into that. So you use either the karate chop point to tap on while you're saying this, what we call setup phrase 3 times. Or you can rub the sore spot on your chest. Now the sore spot on your chest, if you go down your sternum about 3 inches, I don't know how many centimetres that is, I'm an inches girl. Go down about 3 inches and then across your chest on either side. If you poke around there, you will realise that there's a sore spot. It's actually sore when you poke it. Okay, that's a lymph node. So when you say the setup phrase for EFT, you're either rubbing the sore spot on your chest like this in a circular motion as you repeat the setup phrase, or you're tapping the karate chop point on your hand. It doesn't matter what hand you use, either one will do. So today we're going to be working on anxiety, so I'm going to repeat the phrase for anxiety, okay? So tap along with me as I do this. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So notice that I'm saying this as if I really mean it. Remember, I'm talking to my unconscious mind, or in this case maybe even yours, and it's important to say it as if you really mean it. Don't just say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, because your unconscious mind isn't going to get on board with that. It's not going to believe you, okay? So even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, and I totally forgive myself. Now, if you have someone who has trouble saying I love myself, you can say, even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself, and I totally forgive myself. What's really important is that you're accepting what it is you have. In the acceptance of something, we can get rid of it. If you don't accept it, you can't get rid of it. It's like being an alcoholic and not accepting that you're an alcoholic, you can't get rid of it. Now, before you start tapping, what you need to do is you need to tune into your body and find out what the subjective unit of distress measure is. The subjective unit of distress measure is just a number between 1 and 10 that you're going to give to this feeling of whatever it is inside your body. So if you're feeling anxiety, tune into your body, even if you have to close your eyes, and just tune into the sensations in your body and feel that anxiety and rate it for yourself between 1 and 10, 1 being almost not there and 10 being really, really intense. So you might tune into your anxiety and say, okay, my anxiety is a 7. And then you start tapping, okay? So we're going to do it again. We're going to start from the beginning. We're going to say the setup phrase, and then I'm going to go through the tapping, okay? This time I'll rub the sore spot on my chest. Even though I feel anxious, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel this anxiety, I completely and deeply love and accept myself, and I totally forgive myself. Now, as you tap, remind your unconscious mind what you're tapping on. In this case, it's anxiety. Anxiety, anxiety, this 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 anxiety that I'm feeling, releasing this anxiety that I'm feeling. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 rounds of tapping every time I say that setup phrase 3 times. I'm going to do 2 rounds of tapping. Okay? So the last of the round of tapping ends on your karate chop point, in this case. So we go down to there and then we start again. This anxiety. Releasing this anxiety. I'm ready to let this anxiety go. I'm really ready to let this anxiety go. I'm taking back control of my own feelings. I'm in control of how I feel. I'm breathing out, letting this anxiety go. This anxiety. This anxiety. This anxiety. Releasing this anxiety. This anxiety. Now remember I said it doesn't matter what order you tap in. You can tap in any order you like. And sometimes when you get to certain points, you'll find that they feel really good when you tap that point. And if that's the case, you just keep tapping away at that point. Just tap, 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 tap. You can't tap for too long. You can't tap too much. You can't hurt yourself, right? You just need to tap, 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 tap. Focus on the feeling of anxiety in your body. Anxiety. Okay, and you've done 2 rounds of tapping, and then you stop. And you take a couple of deep breaths. And you might need to have a little sip of water and have a glass of water close to you and have a little sip of water and then tune back into your body and see how you're feeling now. Now you might tune back into your body to get that subjective unit of distress measure and you might find that it's still a 7. If that's the case, just keep tapping. Okay, do it again. You might tune back into it and find that you're down to a 5. If that's the case, congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back, and then do a couple more rounds of tapping. So when we tap again after we've tapped the first time, we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did before. We're going to, even though I still feel this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I still feel this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I still feel this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself and I forgive myself. Remaining anxiety. This 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 remaining anxiety. Remaining anxiety. I'm going to let this anxiety go now. Now just let yourself ramble with your words. I'm going to let this anxiety go now. I choose to let this anxiety go. I'm healing myself. I'm letting this anxiety go. Letting this anxiety go. Letting this anxiety go. Releasing this anxiety. Releasing this anxiety. Relaxing and releasing this anxiety. Now what I like to do, after I've done a couple of rounds of tapping on the anxiety, or whatever I'm tapping on, tap, 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 tapping. After I've done it, and I've tapped in the negative, so I'm telling myself this anxiety or anxiety. After that, I like to tap in a couple of positive rounds. So I like to say to myself, I just keep tapping and tapping. And what I like to say to myself is, I feel peace. I feel peace. I feel peace and calm. I'm safe. I'm safe. Any notion that I'm not safe is an illusion. I'm making it up. I'm telling myself I'm not safe and it's not true. There's nothing happening in my moment now that could possibly make me feel unsafe. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. I'm safe. I'm at peace with myself. I'm safe. So tap in a few rounds of the positive or whatever it is that you want to feel when you're not feeling anxiety. Tap those in and do that. Now, as I said, you can't get it wrong and just keep tapping. It would be not uncommon for someone who had anxiety on a regular basis to tap for 10 or 15 minutes. And if I was someone that was suffering from anxiety, I'd want to get up in the morning and I'd want to tap on myself for 10 or 15 minutes before I started the day. And then I might tap again in the middle of the day. And then I might tap before I go to sleep. You know, the important thing is that if you're suffering from anxiety, you need to know that you don't have to feel that way. That for some reason you're creating that in your body, mind, emotional complex out of the thoughts that you're thinking. You're actually what I call using your imagination for evil, not good. You're actually projecting yourself into the future and imagining the worst case scenario, or putting yourself back in the past and recalling disturbing events from the past that make you feel unsafe. You're not actually in the now moment. So you're actually doing that with your mind. And you can learn to control your mind. Remember what I said, you can learn to control your mind. You're not at its mercy. Your mind is like a muscle. And it's like running a 10-kilometre marathon. You wouldn't try and do it tomorrow unless you'd practice, run that marathon. So you can learn how to get in control of your mind really easily. It's what I teach all of my clients to do. And if you're interested in finding out how to do that and the easy steps that you can take to actually be in control of your mind and direct it consciously onto happy, peaceful thoughts rather than anxious, fearful ones, download a copy of my book on Amazon, Get Back Your Mojo, and it will have a full description in there in the first one or two chapters, on how to be in control of your mind. So don't put up with feeling bad. There is no reason why you need to be anxious. It disturbs me greatly that anxiety is on the rise in our culture, that every second person I speak to comes and tells me that they're anxious. And you know, some of the things that they tell me that they're anxious about are doing new things that they haven't done before. And I spend a lot of time saying to people that if you're going to do something that you've never done before and it's a new thing, it's normal to have nerves about it. It's normal to feel nervous. And I urge my clients to stop telling themselves they've got anxiety. Anxiety is just a word that Western medical science has put onto a feeling. And the reason that they do that is so that they can describe it in clinical terms, so that they can diagnose you and give you a medication. But for the vast majority of my clients that come and tell me they have anxiety, they've tried medication and it doesn't work for them. And we know that it doesn't work for a lot of people. So don't tell yourself that you've got anxiety. Tell yourself that you're fearful or nervous, or use some other word, because when you describe it as anxiety, you kind of distance yourself from it and you make it, pathologize it, you know, make it some sort of clinical diagnosis that you've got no control over. And it's not true that you don't have control over it. There are lots of things that you can do to get rid of anxiety and fears. As a hypnotherapist, I see clients all the time and do hypnotherapy with them and clear up things in their past that may have caused their anxiety, or help them to access powerful states of feeling that they can use to counteract that anxiety under hypnosis and bring them into their now moment. So, I mean, there are only just two things that you can use. So EFT is a powerful resource. Please have a go at it. If you're watching this video because you found me on YouTube and you'd like to have a session of EFT, I can do that easily over Skype if you're not on the Gold Coast in Australia where I am. So don't hesitate to contact me and set up a Skype session if you'd like to have a go at doing EFT with someone on whatever it is that you're feeling. It may not be anxiety, it may be depression or sadness or grief or loss, or you know, any human emotion that you're suffering from. You can use EFT on. You can also use EFT on physical disorders. Pain, chronic pain is a great one. They are using EFT now to heal cancer. So not that it's the whole healing strategy for cancer, but it's one of the strategies that they're using to help address cancer. So thank you for listening today, and I'd love to connect with you. If you think you'd like to have a session with me, I'm available for individual sessions. So please pick up the phone and give me a chat. I'm happy to talk to people on the phone when you book your appointment. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit more, I'm happy to have a bit of a chat with you. So have a beautiful day, get cracking on that EFT, and I'll put lots of links below this video so that you can resource more information about EFT and about me. Thank you.